guys, it's been a little bit since I have recorded one of these, and that makes me sad because I want you to remember that you have a teacher here. I know you see me on Mondays and you see all of us on Mondays, but I don't want you to forget and lose sight of the fact that you have somebody here to help you if you need help. So I'm making this short video just to kind of fill you in on what we're doing this week, okay? Um, we're finished with A Long Walk to Water. Thank you so much for coming on that journey with me. I love that part of the world, which is part of why I love that story. But what I love about the story is the inspirational message as well. Now that you finished it, you know what I mean. It's going to be a little bit before we start our next book. I'm thinking of one. I think I know which one we're going to do. But we are going to jump kind of back in time a little bit and remember the basics, okay? So we're going to jump back into you reading whatever kind of book you're interested in reading. Okay, fiction, nonfiction, historical fiction, science fiction, I don't care. You get to pick your book. And then you're going to want to read for at least 75 minutes every week because one time during the week, you're going to fill out a reading log. And that reading log will give me like the name of the book that you're reading. And if you read several, you can just pick one, the author, and like a little activity to kind of prove that you've read the book. If you read 20 minutes a day for 4 days a week, that's going to be more than your 75 minutes. I don't care if you get into your story and you don't want to put it down and you're reading, that's fine too. You can do it all in that one setting. But your reading log is on there. And if you think back, we've done this before. And if you're new, you may not know kind of how to do it. So you feel free to email me any questions. Okay. A journal is also going to be on there and it says go to your journal. Remember that your journal is a link at the very top of your page. You click on your journal and you complete it. Then you can come back in and mark that you wrote in your journal by marking it complete. Because we're going to be doing Pearson work, I want to go over some things with you. You're learning the information now instead of from practicing by answering questions for me and then reading what I write back to you. You're going to be looking at a slideshow that teaches you the information. You are not going to want to just click through the slideshow for two reasons. Number one, it's timed. So how much time you spend on that slideshow is going to be what determines whether you were even allowed to take the quick check, okay? So a little bit less time than a student should spend on the slideshow is how much time you're going to have to be on there before it marks you as complete. Pay attention as you're reading through the slideshows because it's going to ask you to answer some questions. You obviously will want to write some of those answers down. But if you wrote all the answers to every question and you did a good job like we've been practicing, restating and answering and proving you're right, citing evidence that you're right, then you'll be spending all your time in language arts, and I don't want that, okay? What you learn in social studies and science and math, of course. But also, if you just didn't write any answers out, you just like told the answers to somebody, you might not learn it like you want to learn it. So my encouragement to you is to write some and then speak some. That's actually good for you to speak the answers. Find a learning coach, a brother or sister, even your pet, and say the answers out loud to your pet. And that's your choice on how much you think you should be writing versus speaking. Okay? When you have gone through your slideshow and you spent enough time, it will automatically mark it complete for you, and then you can take your quick check. You'll be allowed 2 attempts on your quick check. You won't need more than that if you have been very careful with your slideshow and taking notes and all that fun stuff. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of information here, and I'd like to do this in like 1 or 2 minutes. So I'm going to go kind of quick. You might change the speed on your little video to a little slower, but I'm going over information that will be on one of the quick check questions. Okay, so in fact, I just looked at the quick checks to decide what to tell you. This week, you're going to be learning about central idea. Okay, that's kind of like old school Ask Your Mom and Dad. It's sort of like the main idea. It's the biggest idea. Okay, it's different than the topic, which is kind of the subject that the article is about. That's the topic. The topic is the subject. The central idea is like the big idea. Okay, thinking about the central idea gives you an idea of the author's, like the focus on their purpose. I did not say that how I wanted to say it. Thinking about the central idea helps you to focus in on what the author's purpose is. There's a reason I'm saying it in that way too. So just be paying attention, and when you go to your quick check, it might help you. But you do. The author has a purpose, and when they wrote that piece of, the excerpt, the text, whatever it is that's included that you're reading, they had a purpose. And when you're thinking about the central idea, then you're understanding what that purpose was that the author had. The author will not just give you the the central idea. They're also going to include supporting details. So maybe they're trying to convince you of something and they're giving you evidence. Or maybe they're teaching you about something and they're listing facts about that thing. You will see some supporting details to kind of back up your central idea. One way that you can figure out which one is the central idea is look for a word that appears multiple times throughout the text. That's like a little clue of which one is the central idea. Being able to summarize, in other words, being able to tell me the central idea and just the key details is really helpful for you to understand the text or to comprehend the text. But when you summarize, you won't put your opinion in there. You're just going to tell me what you read. You're going to tell me the central idea and just the key details that you feel like need to be included. I don't care if you read some crazy idea like, rain comes from cars. I mean, I don't know. Whatever you read about, even if you disagree with it, if you're summarizing, you're still just telling me the central idea and the details that they use to support that. You are not giving your opinion. The word that this that Pearson is going to use, and by the way, Pearson writes some of the tests that you take. The word is, let me look at this and see, for when you give your opinion, you give your briefing. If you want to offer a briefing, then it might include your opinion, but your summary will not. So how does this help you as a writer? Okay, we talked about how it helps you as a reader because it helps you comprehend when you summarize the central idea and supporting details. It helps you as a writer. Let me look at my text to make sure I include what I want to. It helps you to develop informational text or text that teaches someone about something. If you're writing, you want to start with that evidence. You always start with your evidence and keep it in the front of your mind. And then as you start thinking about your evidence, your central idea will emerge. You can also start with the central idea as long as picking the evidence is a primary part of your research. Okay. Now, you don't just want to pick all the facts you know about everything, because then you don't have a focus. You don't have a central idea. You want to stay focused and pick evidence and facts that support that central idea, whatever your purpose is that you're wanting to get across. It's especially helpful when you're writing informational, I said informational text, but they're going to refer to it as informational nonfiction. That's the same thing. It's just not false, and it's informational, so it's informing you, okay? Another type of writing would be a biographical text. That's just where you read about a person's life. Enjoy your lessons, guys. I'll see you later.